New polling changes means you might not be able to vote in your neighborhood anymore. One Athens singing group is working to make the community more inclusive through music. And in sports, Ohio women's basketball team did not make the NCAA tournament, but they're not done yet. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Polling locations in Athens are changing, and not everyone is happy about it. Good evening, I'm Taylor Bruck. Thanks for joining us. The director of the Athens County Board of Elections says they have no choice but to consolidate multiple precinct polling locations. In February, the board voted 3-1 to consolidate a total of 9 single precinct polling locations. People against the consolidations rallied in Uptown Athens, saying their right to vote was being suppressed. At a community meeting, Director Debbie Quivy says the consolidations were an order from the Ohio Secretary of State. Multiple residents at the meeting said the county doesn't need to follow the directive and that consolidating the locations makes it harder for people with disabilities or who depend on public transportation. The City of Athens will end the year with a surplus. City Council says the city expected to get more than $200,000 in year-end interest on income tax. Instead, they have already received more than $300,000. Council President Chris Nisley says the extra money is from a certificate of deposit that was cashed in, and additional interest from the bond used to pay for the pool. Voters will see a levy for Athens County Children's Services on the ballot in November. The Athens Messenger reports the total levy is $2.5 million, but only $0.5 million is a new tax. The other part is a replacement levy that was originally approved in 2000. If it passes, it would generate nearly $300 million a year. The money will help support the high number of children impacted by the opioid crisis in the county. Kentucky's governor is putting new restrictions on abortion. Governor Matt Bevins signed a measure yesterday that bans abortion for women seeking to end their pregnancies because of the gender, race, or disability of the fetus. The ACLU has filed a lawsuit to block it, and Governor Bevins' lawyers said they filed a response. A West Virginia man is facing life in prison after being convicted of the 2016 rape and murder of a 10-year-old. WSAZ reports that after 4 days of testimony, it took the jury just 2 hours to find Benjamin Taylor guilty of both charges, which he claims to not remember. The jury did not recommend mercy for Taylor. West Virginia is suing the Catholic Diocese and the state's former bishop. The civil suit alleges the Diocese of Wheeling-Charleston knowingly employed pedophiles and failed to adequate background checks on camp and school workers. A spokesman from the diocese issued a statement saying some of the allegations are not accurately described, and the church will address the suit in the appropriate forum. Sigma Pi Fraternity International is denying allegations made by the parents of an Ohio University student who died last November. Colin Wyatt was found dead in the house of multiple members of the fraternity. The lawsuit filed by Wyatt's parents alleges that his death was a result of a fraternity hazing. Sigma Pi International responded, calling the lawsuit, quote, groundless and without merit.
Newswatch Weather Center, I'm your forecaster, Cameron Saliga. We are looking really great out there today, around 59 right now outside. We are looking at temperatures in the upper 50s that will start to die down as the day goes on, as we start to lose some sunlight out there. Around the area, we see also temperatures in the 50s and upper 50s to even 60s down into the areas by West Virginia. And we see a low pressure system that is starting to move into the area, which is why you're seeing some cloudy skies starting to build into the area. And we will start to see some rain approaching in the overnight hours. And we have seen a great day today. Check my full forecast later on to see when this rain will make its way in and move its way out of the area. Back to you.
Cameron, today was a really nice day. I'm excited. Hopefully the weather will stay. We'll see you later in your forecast. The Athens County Community Singers performed last night at the Disability Awareness Celebration at the Athens Community Center. The group is for people with or without disabilities. Choir Director Stephanie Morris says Athens County is accommodating for people with certain disabilities, but more can be done throughout the rest of the county.
The other thing is to have venues and opportunities for us to be able to go and perform, because we like to sing all over the county, not just in Athens.
Morris says she started the group in 2013 with 15 people and now has around 30 people and now supports Beacon Singers, which is a choir for the older students at the Beacon School. 200 undocumented immigrants are being released from detention camps today. We'll have that latest from the border. Plus, 4 Bobcat wrestlers are heading to the national tournament. See how they stack up. Newswatch will be right back.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Schools are closed and authorities are searching for answers after smoke from a chemical plant fire in Texas looms. Crews were finally able to extinguish the flames early this morning. Camila Bernal is in Deer Park, Texas with the latest on the progress being made.
As of 3 a.m., we got some very great news. The fires have been extinguished.
After almost 4 straight days of thick black clouds of smoke covering the Houston area, a fire at a petrochemical facility is finally out. Intercontinental Terminals Company, which operates the tanks where the fire was located, apologized repeatedly over the past few days.
We're sorry to our neighbors. We're sorry to our communities. We're sorry to the employees who live there.
What started as a fire in one tank at the Intercontinental Terminals Company Sunday spread to 7 tanks by Tuesday. Authorities have tried to reassure the public over and over again that the air quality is safe.
EPA was activated to respond and be part of this incident on March the 17th. From the start of this up until today, right now, we've measured no hazardous levels of concentrations.
The cause of the fire is still unknown. ITC says a specialty firefighting team from Louisiana was brought in to battle the blaze with water and foam.
But we have not gotten in to find out exactly what the root cause is, but we will find the root cause so that this will never happen again.
The tanks at the facility contain chemicals used to produce nail polish remover, glue, and paint thinner. Federal and state environmental authorities are continuing to test the smoke and water in the area. While Texas is working on fighting fires, California is working on prevention. The state is calling in the National Guard to help protect communities from wildfires. Starting next month, troops from Border Protection will begin training with shovels, rakes, and chainsaws to help slow advancing fires. They will also work on various forest management projects. The training is set to last 11 days and will include just over 100 troops. President Trump is returning to Ohio. He toured a tank manufacturing plant in Lima and fundraising for his re-election campaign. The plant had been at risk for closure, but is now benefiting from his administration's investments in defense spending. The visit is Trump's first to Ohio this year. It follows complaints about General Motors' decision to close its plant in Lordstown, Ohio. Some undocumented immigrants are being released from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection detention in Texas. CBP officials say 50 people were released from detention over the last 2 days, and 200 more are expected to be released today. Authorities say it is because the centers are overcrowded. Immigrants and custom enforcement cannot hold people longer than 20 days on the southwest border. The wrestling national tournament starts tomorrow, but earlier today the brackets got a last-minute change. Still ahead, we preview what this means for the Bobcats competing.
Today was a great day out there. It felt like spring, and we will see sunshine continue. And I'll give you my full forecast in my upcoming weather segment. But first, here's a look at your stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome to Newswatch. I'm your forecaster, Cameron Saliga, and we're going to check out the almanac today. We see a high of 59 today. That is around normal of 58. The high record was 90 set in 1921, and our low is 42, and the normal is 37, so we are above average for both with a sunrise and sunset of over 12 hours. So it's been a great day out today on cue with the average. We see the headlines today. Vernal equinox happened around 5:58 today, and it also feels like spring out there. And then tonight, we'll start to see the beginning of the worm moon, and I'll explain more on that in a second. The worm moon is in March around the vernal equinox. We start to see the full moon come out, and it starts today, and tomorrow it will be fully illuminated. And that's when earthworms start coming out, and then the robins will start to come. So spring is right around the corner in terms of temperature. And we see tonight it's going to be around 42. It's going to be mostly cloudy as clouds start to increase throughout the night. Those clouds will help keep the warmth in and be a more mild night with a rain chance late on into the early morning with light winds going to be overnight. Hour by hour tonight, 8 p.m., 52 degrees, mostly cloudy, a 10% chance of rain. And by midnight, we're going to see 47 degrees with another chance of showers around 10% and cloudy. And then by 4 a.m., we're going to start to see those chances increase as that low pressure starts to move through 40% around that time. We see the overnight lows, 42 in Columbus, 43 in New Lexington, 42 in Athens. It's going to be raining overnight, starting out all the way in western Ohio, then move on its way over to the eastern part of Ohio, as we'll start to see. And the bus stop tomorrow, you might want to bring some umbrellas and a small jacket. 45 degrees, a chance of rain. It'll be mild with a southeast wind at 5 miles per hour. And then for your morning commute, we start to see 43 degrees, 7 a.m. to start your morning commute. And by 8 a.m., we're going to start to see 45 with rain. So it's going to be a wet one out there. So you might want to be prepared, bring an umbrella to work for your morning commute. We see precipcast tomorrow morning, that low pressure system starting to make its way through the area with some rain. And it's like there's going to be a cold front moving through. So there's going to be some slightly cooler temperatures tomorrow. And then we will start to see that system move out throughout the day. Tomorrow, 51 out there. Clouds decrease in the afternoon, showers, light wind, and it's going to be showers for most of the day, actually. Tomorrow in the region, lower 50s and 54 down in Ironton. Rain throughout the area in the early parts of the day. As we see in precipcast, this low pressure is starting to move out through and out of the area tomorrow as we start to see a high starting to build in. Over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Cam. So while spring sports are getting started with temperatures warming up, the postseason for the winter sports season are in full swing. And Ohio Wrestling will compete at the national level this weekend. Rachel Cherry previews the NCAA championship matchups.
While a lot of people are excited for March Madness, Ohio has wrestlers getting ready for March Madness. The NCAA Wrestling Championships start tomorrow with the first round at noon. 4 Bobcats qualified for the tournament. 2 earned automatic bids by placing high enough in the MAC Championships, Cameron Kelly and Zach Parker. Last week, the wrestling committee gave Mario Guillen and Zach Carson at-large bids. Mario Guillen is in what most say is the toughest bracket in the tournament, 133 pounds. It's also his first appearance in the national championship. Guillen placed 4th at the MAC Championships, 1 place shy of automatically qualifying. His record is 17-3 so far. He was seeded 23rd in the bracket, and this year it's the first time every wrestler is seeded. Guillen faces Penn State's Roman Bravo Young, who is seeded 10th. Bravo Young is a freshman, and his record is 21-4. He was one of the top of his class coming into college because he never lost a high school season match. It's a tough road for Guillen. If he is able to win against Bravo Young, he will face Iowa's Austin DeSanto, and then possibly last year's national champ, 144-pounder Cam Kelly. Looks like he will have an easier route to an NCAA title, but every bracket is tough at the NCAA championships. Kelly has competed at nationals twice, but has yet to reach All-American status. The 141-pounder qualified when he placed 3rd at the MAC championships. His record is 19-3. The committee seeded Kelly 12th, and he will face AC Headley from UNC. The two have never wrestled each other before, but with common opponents, Kelly has gone 8-6, while Headley has gone 6-6. Kelly isn't the only Bobcat to be up against a Big Ten wrestler. Zach Carson earned an at-large bid with a record of 19-9 and 6th place at the MAC Championships. He is seeded 22nd and will wrestle Ohio State's Keyshawn Hayes in the first round. While Hayes is seeded 11th, their records are very similar, with Hayes' record 20-19. But the two have never wrestled each other. Zach Parker has also not wrestled his opponent for the first round. Parker earned his bid by winning a challenge match for an allocated spot. It's going to be difficult for him to move on. He will wrestle the 3rd seed Gable Steveson. Steveson has only lost 1 match, which was in the Big Ten Finals. He's a freshman, so Parker's experience may help him a little. While there is a team race for the national championship, Ohio most likely will not win. There are multiple teams that are almost bringing all of their starters, so Ohio would need all wrestlers to win a championship. Reporting.
Thanks, Rachel. WOUB will continue to have coverage of the national tournament throughout the week. You can tune in to Newswatch each night or find us online at woub.org. And you can also follow us on social media at WOUB_outlet for the latest. Some more sports news. A huge announcement regarding one Ohio men's basketball player's future and his entry to the transfer portal. Plus, the Ohio baseball team returned to the Ren. Highlights from last night's game against the Dayton Flyers and more when Newswatch returns. But be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS. We're with you for life.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, I'm Nick Orsini. So just 2 days after introducing new Ohio men's head coach Jeff Bowles, Ohio has their first player transfer. Ohio sophomore forward Jason Carter entered the transfer portal today according to the stadium. Carter averaged 16.5 points per game this season with just under 7 rebounds per game. Although simply entering your name into the transfer portal does not guarantee a transfer, it does mean that Carter is looking at other programs. Carter has been arguably Ohio's best player the past 2 seasons. Now, Carter did say during the last regular season game against Miami that he wants to keep playing under former head coach Saul Phillips. The Ohio baseball team fell to Dayton 12-5 Tuesday night at Bob Wren Stadium. Dayton jumped on the board early in the top of the first inning with 3 runs, and they never looked back. The hits were 7-6 in favor of the Flyers, but the Bobcats pitchers walked 9 batters and hit 6. The one bright spot for Ohio last night was senior first baseman Rudy Rote was 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. It was the 3rd time the Bobcats and Flyers faced off this season, and the series goes to the Flyers 2-1. The Bobcats remained at home this weekend with their first MAC series of the year against the Central Michigan Chippewas. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. on Friday. Sticking to the diamond, a 3-home run day from sophomore Katie Yoon helped the Ohio softball team come from behind in extra innings, defeating the Pittsburgh Panthers 11-9 in Pittsburgh. The Bobcats struck first in the top of the first inning when Yoon launched her first of 3 home runs to right center field. Overall, Ohio scored 11 runs on 14 hits, while Pitt scored 9 on 11 hits. Up next for Ohio, the Bobcats return here to Athens when MAC play starts up against Bowling Green. First pitch is set for 3 p.m. on Friday. Now over to the ice. It just was not the Columbus Blue Jackets' day yesterday. Through the first 2 periods, the Jackets hit 3 posts. Johnny Gaudreau scored his team-leading 35th goal, and Michael Frolik added a goal and an assist as the Calgary Flames downed the Blue Jackets 4-2. David Riddick made 31 saves, winning his 4th straight start in a row. Olivier Bjorkstrand and Zach Werenski scored for Columbus, while Sergei Bobrovsky stopped 27 shots. Next up for the Blue Jackets, they continue their Canadian road trip with a visit to Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night at 9 p.m. After being snubbed a berth in the NCAA tournament, the Ohio women's basketball team preps for the NIT tournament. The Ohio women's basketball team will face High Point in the first round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament. The winner of Ohio and High Point will play the winner of IUP and Middle Tennessee State. The game, the time, and the date, and the location will be determined later. Scouting the Panthers, they are led by Emma Bockrath, who is averaging 16 points per game and 7 rebounds. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. tomorrow night inside the Convocation Center. All right, well, that is a wrap for me. And for sports tonight, I'm Nick Orsini. Taylor, back over to you.
Thanks for the sport update, Nick. Postpartum depression affects hundreds of thousands of women worldwide. Yesterday, the FDA has approved a drug specifically intended for its treatment. Meredith Wood has details on this breakthrough.
For the first time ever, the FDA has announced its approval of a drug to treat postpartum depression. The drug is called Zulresso. It's an intravenous infusion of brexanolone administered in a single 60-hour IV drip. Postpartum depression affects an estimated 1 in 9 new mothers after childbirth. Without treatment, symptoms can last for months or years. In the past, treatment options have included counseling and antidepressants. But antidepressants can take weeks to take effect. In clinical trials, Zulresso has been shown to take effect within hours of the infusion. The trials were conducted in 2016 and 2017 across 30 locations and involved more than 200 women who displayed symptoms of postpartum depression. Of the women who were given Zulresso, half no longer displayed signs of clinical depression, and 75% saw at least a 50% improvement in their symptoms. 94% had not relapsed at a 30-day follow-up. Common side effects include headache, dizziness, and excessive sleepiness. Sage Therapeutics, the company that developed the treatment, estimates the drug will cost between $20,000 and $35,000 per treatment. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
The drug will be available beginning in June, but only providers in certified healthcare facilities will be able to administer treatment initially. The National Cherry Blossom Festival begins today in our nation's capital. The event celebrates, quote, the beauty and nature in international friendship. Japan gifted the U.S. more than 3,000 cherry trees back in 1912. Similarly, the cherry trees at Ohio University were a gift from Chubu University, a longtime partner in Japan. The National Park Service says this year's peak cherry blossom bloom is predicted for April 3rd to the 6th. Let's take a final look at the weather. Cameron?
Thank you. And looking at our long-term outlook, we are going to see normal temperatures in the next 8 to 14 days and above average precip. But let's check out your next 7 days for you. And starting on tomorrow, we're going to start to see that rain moving through associated with that low pressure that's moving through overnight. And by Friday, we're going to start to see that rain taper off. We're going to start to see the rain leave in the morning hours. And by the weekend, it's going to be beautiful out there. It's going to be around 50 on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to see temperatures up in the upper 50s. And to start Monday, we may see a shower with a high of 54 and 46 on Tuesday. And we may see some showers on Tuesday and Wednesday with temperatures right around the 50s and low temperatures in the 30s. And Taylor, I don't know about you, but I think it's finally starting to become spring-like outside, and I'm so excited.
I am too. I'm ready to finally get rid of my winter coat, storm wave for the season. Looks like it's going to stay warm. A little bit of rain showers, but that's about it.
Yep, especially this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend to finish or to go out and do something outside.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. And that does it for our